Hi, I'm Dr. Jenifer Moffit. I'm an associate professor at SUNY Upstate Medical University, where I work in the Department of Microbiology and Immunology. Today I'd like to give you a little bit of the inside scoop on NIH contracts. I currently have an NIH contract to evaluate antiviral drugs for varicella zoster virus. I'm about halfway through a 7-year contract, and I've learned a few things along the way that I'd like to share with you so that if you are considering applying for a contract, then you'll know a little bit more than I did when I started. So this is my contract number. This must be included on all correspondence with NIH. The HHS stands for Health and Human Services. The N is for NIAID. And the rest of the numbers, I do not know what they mean, but I must include them. So to me, this contract has meant a lot of things. First of all, it's exciting research. I really have enjoyed the process of evaluating antiviral drugs that come to me. Therefore, this work is translational. It's certainly the bench to bedside paradigm. So I'm also appreciate working at that level. Very collaborative. I work with other contractors, such as myself, but also with the chemists and the corporations and so on. So I feel like I've enhanced my network. These renewals of this from year to year have been very steady. So I have not had to reapply for the contract every year. It's also very stable. I can count on this as being something that is the bread and butter of my research program. It pays full indirects, which is really wonderful these days, especially when doing work with pharmaceutical companies and so on. It's not always possible to get full indirect cost rate. And I feel that the data has high impact. So to me, it's very rewarding. These are all the positives, right? Well, what about the negatives? There is an enormous amount of tedious paperwork. Both applying and maintaining this contract requires many people working on paperwork, such as monthly invoicing of all of my purchases, monthly progress reports of all my data. The rules can change at any time. And there can be reimbursement headaches for things like foreign travel or something along those lines. And there are restrictions on what I can use the contract for. So as you can see, the positives outweigh the negatives. So I just want you to be aware that this does come with its own set of challenges. So how does one get a contract? I would say it takes a village. And now who was my village when I was applying for this? First off, it was Holly Shinatry, who was managing grants in our department at the time. She and I did this really side by side. She worked on the business plan, I worked on the technical plan, and we rounded up all the people we needed to submit this contract when the RFP was announced. Another person who was essential was Jenifer in the sponsored programs office. She kept track of everything and a 7-year budget and all kinds of things that were beyond me. Another essential person was Bob Quinn in our Department of Laboratory Animal Resources, who made it possible for me to present our animal facilities as a place where contract work could be done. So these were the people that I worked with closely, but all of us had to work with the Research Foundation. So these kinds of contracts require input from people really at all levels of our institution, not just on your campus, but at the RF and possibly beyond. So this was my village. What it resulted in was a business plan that's over 100 pages and a technical plan that is over 100 pages. This had to be submitted in a paper form and electronic at the time. It weighed 26 pounds when we sent it to NIH. So this was clearly an undertaking that I had never done before. So where does one find out about these contracts? I did not know much about them when I started, and I went looking, but it was not an easy hunt. So for instance, at the NCI website, which I showed you the banner here, there is a menu item to click, which is Research Resources. And within that lie the NIH NCI contracts for testing new cancer drugs and for synthesizing these compounds and doing a lot of clinical trials. So if you work on cancer, I urge you to start here for Research Resources, whereas I work within NIAID, the Infectious Diseases and Allergies Division. And this is the page that I had to negotiate. So where to start? Okay, we have resources for researchers. Where do you go next? There's a lot on here. It's not obvious. So what I found by clicking a lot was I needed to go here to preclinical research resources. Didn't know that, just had to find that out by looking around, right? So how do you find these contracts? It is not easy. So when you click on this site, the preclinical site, then you get a choice of animal models of infectious disease. That's what I do. So yes, choice number 2 is in vivo screening. Okay, that sounds like what I do. And under animal models, they include mice, rats, guinea pigs, and so on. I work with mice. Okay, we're narrowing this down. And at the time, we were considering possibly, would we do this work under GLP guidelines? That is a choice there, but we chose not to submit our contract for GLP. But clearly, they do not make this easy. Okay, this took me a long time to find, and Holly looked as well. So this is what outside investigators can find. But what if you're an inside person and you want to apply to be a contractor? That is even more challenging. So they give you one name on this site, and that is Tim's Pickett. Okay, we're going to try to find out who is Tim's Pickett. Well, how many clicks would it take for someone just starting out at the NIH website to find this information? Okay, once you get to nih.gov, it's 1 to find NIAID, lab and scientific resources, resources for researchers, translational research tools and services, preclinical and clinical research resources, we're not there yet, preclinical research, animal models of infectious diseases, and you finally found Tim's Pickett. He apparently, or she, I do not know this person, is the main contact for contracts for antivirals tested in animals. I've never met this person. They are a mystery to me. So, in fact, I've worked with contracts for 3 or 4 or 5 years now and never heard of this person. So is it a gatekeeper? I believe so. So to get past the gatekeeper, you have to go through them, keep clicking, but there's more you can do. So who really matters in the DMID contract world? Well, I had to learn first that DMID stands for Division of Microbiology and Infectious Disease, and there are people in there who are involved with contracts, and this is who they are. So they're very much incognito. I did not know them, and they don't advertise themselves. So these are the program officers in the Collaborative Antiviral Testing Group, of which I am now a member, but I didn't know these people to start with. On the left, far left, is Christopher Tsang, and he's a chemist. He's involved with finding the compounds that come to me for testing. On the right-hand side is Heather Greenstone, a virologist, and she's in charge of managing all of the contractors who use in vivo models, such as mine with mice. I know them well now, and I interact with them at the antiviral research conferences, which is where I took these pictures. So it's tough to find the right people to talk to. It's worth digging. You need to go through Tim's Pickett to find who are the real people who interact with the contracts. And I think if you keep asking, you will find the right people for your group. Now I work with these people closely on a monthly basis. So we have monthly conference calls, and I attend 2 conferences a year where I interact with them. So it's important to build your network of people. So these are the lessons that I'd like to pass along about contracts. First, the NIH pages are difficult to navigate. So I suggest you dig deeply and keep clicking. you may discover somewhere on a corner of a back page, 10 or 15 clicks in, the information that you need to find a person who can tell you about contracts in your field. So call those contacts. Don't just email. Call them and ask them everything they know and for more leads, for more names, deeper in, who really is involved with this. And then go to your conferences and ask, okay, anybody know who at this meeting is from NIH and are they contract people? That's just a very obvious question that you need to get out there because I didn't know it to begin with. The applications are enormous. They're enormous, and you need to get help on that from your village. All the people who could possibly help you at your institution, you need to get them on board and well in advance. So throughout the application process, it's really important to ask a lot of questions of your contacts at NIH that you've developed. Because when we wrote the technical plan, we didn't realize that we wrote too much. We offered 5 models when really they were looking for just one model of a particular virus. If we'd known that, we could have narrowed down our application and really made it more streamlined and easier on us. So in the RFPs, follow all instructions, even when they conflict and even when they change halfway through. So they'll be sending announcements out throughout the RFP open period, and they keep changing the rules. It's just unbelievable. So you have to do what they ask, bend over backwards to accommodate their needs. They will ask for things that no other grant has ever asked for. So you just provide it, and it takes a lot of legwork from all the people around you to collect the data, the information that you need to put together your technical plan and your business plan. That's all I can tell you today. I'm sure I'll learn more in the future, but thanks for your attention.